What feels like a closed sky above you is actually an open one you have not yet learned to read. Hear me carefully. The blessings you keep waiting to receive are not stuck somewhere behind a locked door in heaven. They are already falling. They have been falling for longer than you realize. What is missing is not my generosity. What is missing is the angle of your face. You have been standing under an open heaven and calling it a ceiling. That is the paradox at the center of so many quiet seasons. You think you are waiting on me, but often I have been waiting on you to lift your eyes. I am not delaying. I am pouring. I have been pouring through every hour you spent looking down at the problem instead of up at the source. Put your hand on your chest right now, just for a moment. Feel the steadiness underneath your fingers. That heartbeat did not arrive by your effort. You did not negotiate it. You did not earn it. It was given. And every breath that follows it is a small reminder that provision has been raining on you continuously, even on the days you felt forgotten. Now I want you to hear the truth that is going to reorder this season for you. Heaven was already open. You were reading the ceiling. That is what I want to settle in your spirit before we go any further. The pause you experienced was never me withholding. It was me waiting for your gaze to lift. The waiting was never a wall between us. The waiting was the time it took for you to slowly soften enough to receive what would have hurt you to receive while you were still hardened by disappointment. Let me speak about what is happening above you in a place you cannot see with your physical eyes, but that is more real than the chair you are sitting in. There is a sky over your life that has been opened, not partially, not conditionally, opened. And from that opening, provision has been descending, wisdom has been descending, favor that you did not arrange for has been descending. Doors that you could not knock on because you did not even know they existed have been positioned for you in the days ahead. But here is the part that hurts to admit. You have been looking at your bills, looking at your relationships, looking at the unanswered text, looking at the path that closed last season, looking at the body that did not heal on the timeline you wanted. And while you stared downward, the sky above you stayed open. The rain kept coming. The rain is still coming. This is not a rebuke. This is an invitation. I am not pointing out a failure to shame you. I am pointing out a posture so I can soften it. Lift your face. That is all I am asking right now. Lift your face, not in performance, not to prove faith. Just turn your eyes upward in your spirit. Even if your physical eyes stay closed, lift your face the way a child lifts theirs in a sudden warm rain after a long, dry stretch. Mouth slightly open. Surprised, receptive, without the calculation of an adult who has been disappointed too many times to expect anything to be free. There is something that has been waiting on the other side of that small movement. Some of what I have been pouring on you was never going to reach the ground until you looked up. Not because I was holding it back as a punishment, but because rain that falls on a face turned away cannot enter the eyes. It hits the back of the neck. It feels cold. It feels like one more thing happening to you. But the same rain on a face turned upward becomes refreshment, becomes vision, becomes the very thing you were begging for. You have been receiving without realizing you were receiving, and you have been missing because you were not positioned to catch. Both have been true at once. That is the strange tenderness of grace. It does not stop falling because you stop noticing, but it cannot land where you have not given it space to land. So, part of what I am doing in this season is widening the space inside you where rain can enter without being immediately wrung out by anxiety. Let me say something to the part of you that is tired, the part that wants to argue with what I am saying, the part that whispers, "But you do not understand my situation. You do not understand how long I have prayed. You do not understand how empty things have looked." I do. I see the prayer you whispered when no one was listening. I see the prayer you stopped praying because hope felt too heavy to lift one more time. I see the small acts of faithfulness that no one celebrated. I see the times you held your tongue when you wanted to lash out. I see the times you gave when you had almost nothing to give. None of that was wasted. None of that disappeared. All of it has been compounding above you in a heaven that does not forget. But you have been measuring my response by what arrived in your hands instead of what was already gathering above your head. Here is what is actually true about the season you are entering. Skies do not stay closed forever, and in your case, they were never closed to begin with. What looked like a ceiling was the underside of provision still in motion. What felt like silence was the sound of preparation. What felt like delay was the time it took for certain things to align so that when the rain finally landed in your hands, it would not slip through your fingers. I do not pour into hands that are not ready to hold. So part of what felt like waiting was actually me strengthening your grip, strengthening your discernment, removing the people who would have stolen what I was about to give, closing the doors that would have led you somewhere you could not have survived, quietly building, in the unseen, a foundation that could carry the weight of what is coming. I want you to think about the version of you from a year ago for a moment. Not to compare, not to measure progress, just to notice. The version of you who was praying for things you have already received without acknowledging them. The version of you who would have collapsed under what you now carry without flinching. The version of you who could not have held the wisdom you now possess because the cup of your heart had not been stretched yet. That stretching was the rain. You called it pressure. I was calling it provision in disguise. If these words are landing in you, leave the word open in the comments. Not for me, not for any algorithm, for your own commitment to keep reading the sky correctly from this point forward. Mark the moment you decided to stop reading the ceiling, so that on harder days, you can return to this place and remind yourself what shifted. Now stay with me. There is more I want to say. I want to address the version of you that has stopped expecting good things because expecting was getting too painful. The version of you that decided it was safer to be quietly hopeless than to risk being disappointed again. I am not angry at that version. That version was protecting you, but she does not know what is coming. And she has built walls around your heart that I want to gently take down, because the walls she built to keep out disappointment are also keeping out the rain. You can let your guard down, not with people who hurt you, with me. Close your eyes for a moment if you can, even just for a few seconds, and imagine simply a small opening above you, like a window in the roof of a house. And from that window, light is falling, not blinding, steady, warm. The kind of light you can feel on your eyelids without even looking at it. That is the sky over your life right now. Opened, waiting on you to receive what is already on its way down. Breathe with me. Slowly. Provision is falling. Receive it. Wisdom is falling. Receive it. Favor is falling. Receive it. Healing is falling. Receive it. Restoration is falling. Receive it. Do not analyze it. Do not negotiate with it. Do not tell yourself you have to deserve it first. You will spend the rest of your life chasing what was already given to you if you keep insisting on earning what I prefer to gift. Heaven was already open. You were reading the ceiling. Now let me tell you what I am rearranging in the days ahead. People you have not met yet are being prepared to find you. Some of them carry pieces of your future that you cannot generate on your own. They are not coming because you posted in the right place at the right time. They are coming because I have been arranging encounters in the unseen for longer than you realize. When they arrive, you will recognize something. You will not be able to explain it. Trust the recognition. Do not let the version of you that has been burned by people in the past close the door on the version of them I am sending now. Some of these new people will not look like the answer at first. They will arrive in ordinary clothing. They will say something simple that lodges in you. They will introduce you to a possibility you had not considered. They will offer a connection, an opportunity, a perspective. Pay attention to the small ones. Heaven often sends large gifts wrapped in small encounters. Do not dismiss what looks plain. The plainness is part of the disguise that keeps the wrong people from intercepting what is meant for you. Doors that closed last season were not failures. They were redirections. The closure looked like rejection from where you were standing, but from where I am standing, it was protection. There were rooms you wanted to enter that would have cost you more than you could pay. I closed them, not to punish you, to keep you. The doors that are about to open will require less striving and offer more room than the ones that closed. I want you to release the doors that closed, not pretend they did not happen, not bypass the grief, just stop knocking on them. They are not coming back open, and every hour spent staring at the closed door is an hour your back is turned to the door I am opening behind you. Some of you have been turning around in circles in front of doors I sealed for your safety, while the door of your future has been swinging quietly behind your shoulder, waiting for you to notice the new light coming through it. Turn around. The door behind you is the one I want you to walk through. The provision you have been calculating is not the provision I am sending. You keep doing the math based on what you can see, what you can earn, what you can stretch. I do not work inside your math. I work outside of it. Sometimes I work against it. Things will start to add up that should not add up. Bills will be paid in ways you cannot fully explain. Help will arrive from sources you did not know existed. Stop trying to predict the channel through which the blessing will come. Just lift your face and receive whatever rain reaches it. Some of what I am sending will arrive through ordinary channels, a consistent paycheck, a long, steady labor that finally produces a harvest, a faithful relationship that quietly carries you. Do not despise the ordinary channels. They are sacred too. The rain that falls in the same place every day is the rain that grows trees deep enough to survive storms. Some of what I am sending will arrive through unexpected channels. A check that comes from a place you did not anticipate. A favor extended by someone who had no obligation to extend it. An opening that should not have existed. Do not analyze the channel. Receive it. Thank me for it. And let me handle the strange logistics of how my generosity finds you. The relationships you have been carrying alone are not yours to carry alone anymore. The weight of being the strong one in your family. The weight of being the one who prays when no one else does. The weight of holding a marriage together with hope and stubbornness when the other person seemed to have stopped trying. I see all of it, and I'm not asking you to keep carrying it the same way. I am stepping in, not to remove your role, but to take the part of the load that was never assigned to you in the first place. You took on what I never asked you to take on. Lay it down. Some of you have been the spiritual lifeguard for an entire family for years. Praying for siblings who do not pray for themselves. Whispering names in the quiet that nobody knows you whisper. Worrying about a parent whose path you cannot fix. Worrying about a child whose decisions are not yours to make. I want you to know that the prayers you have been carrying alone are not falling into a void. They are gathering above the lives you love, and the rain that has been pooling above your head is not just for you. It is for them too. The overflow you receive will spill onto people who do not even know what you have been doing for them in secret. Do not stop praying, but stop carrying the prayers as if their answer depends on the strength of your grip. The answer does not depend on you. The answer depends on me. Your part is to keep your face lifted. My part is to send the rain. The thoughts that have been replaying in your mind, the ones that say you are behind, that you missed your chance, that other people are advancing while you stand still, those thoughts are reading the ceiling. They are not seeing the open sky above your life. From where I am, you are not behind. You are exactly where preparation requires you to be. You will not need to make up for lost time, because nothing you went through was lost. It was deposited. It is sitting in an account you have not yet been given access to. Access is coming. Stop here a second. Do not read the next sentence yet. Let your shoulders drop. Let the air leave your chest slowly. Let the urgency you have been carrying loosen for just one breath. There is no version of receiving what I am sending that requires you to be in a state of panic to deserve it. Now breathe in. What you have been calling anxiety has often been spiritual sensitivity that nobody taught you how to steward. You feel things deeply because I built you that way. The world has been telling you to harden. I am telling you to soften, but in my direction. Stay tender toward me. Stay alert toward what I am doing in the unseen. Let the noise of the world become quieter and the whisper of my voice become louder. I am not whispering because I am distant. I am whispering because I am close. Loud voices announce themselves from far away. Closeness speaks softly. The reason my voice sometimes feels small is not because I have moved. It is because I have come near, and what is near speaks under its breath. You do not have to strain to hear me. You have to slow down enough to notice that I am already speaking. The rain is not waiting on better behavior from you. The rain is not waiting on a more impressive prayer. The rain has been falling on the just and the unjust, on the steady and the staggering, on the days you felt close to me and the days you felt far. My giving was never tied to your performance. It was tied to my nature, and my nature does not change when your week falls apart. This is one of the most important things I want you to understand before we go further. You have been treating my generosity as if it were conditional in places where it is unconditional. You have been treating my love as if it could be earned or unearned by the quality of your last few days. That is not how love works. Not the kind of love I have for you. My love does not graph against your performance. It runs underneath it, steady, constant, older than your most recent failure and older than your most recent success. You cannot make me love you more by getting it right. You cannot make me love you less by getting it wrong. The most you can do is position yourself to feel the love that has always been there. And the position is simple. Face up, heart open, hands ready. So in the days ahead, I want you to practice something simple. Whenever you feel the old habit of looking down, of cataloging the problem, of measuring the lack, gently turn your face up. Not even physically, if you cannot. Inside, lift the inner gaze. Say silently, "The sky over my life is open." And then receive whatever shows up next as part of what was already on its way. Some of what is coming will not look like what you asked for. Receive it anyway. I see further than you do. I know which version of an answer will actually carry you. The thing you begged for might have broken you under its weight. What I am sending instead will hold you and shape you and lead you somewhere your prayer could not have imagined. Some of what is coming will look smaller than what you asked for at first glance. Do not despise the small arrival. Mustard seeds do not look like trees when they land in your hand, but they do not stay small. The thing that is given to you in seed form was given that way on purpose, so you would learn to steward it as it grew. If I gave you the full harvest in one drop, you would lose most of it before you understood what you had. Some of what is coming has already arrived, and you have not noticed yet because you are waiting for it to look more dramatic. The peace that has been creeping in around the edges of your day, the unexpected patience you had with someone who used to provoke you, the smaller worry you carried into the present compared to the version of yourself from a year ago. Those are not nothing. Those are the first drops. The downpour follows. Lift your face. Receive. Trust that what I am pouring is good, even before you see what it builds. I am not the kind of father who prepares poison for the children he loves. Whatever lands on your face from the open sky over your life is going to nourish you, even when it tastes unfamiliar at first. Some of what is coming will require you to grow into receiving it. Some of it will stretch the cup of your heart so that more can fit. None of it is meant to harm you. You can stop bracing. The posture I want you in is not bracing. It is open, hands open, eyes open, spirit open. Bracing is what you did when you thought the sky might fall. The sky is not falling on you. The sky is opening for you. Breathe. Now lift your face one more time. Listen to this carefully. There is something you need to see about the cycle you have been stuck in. The cycle of expecting the worst, because the worst has happened often enough that expecting it feels safer than expecting good. I understand the cycle. I am not condemning the cycle, but I am asking you to step out of it gently, 1 inch at a time, not by pretending you have never been hurt, by trusting that the source of the hurt is not the same as the source of the rain. People wounded you, circumstances disappointed you, but I did not wound you, and I am the one pouring now. You are allowed to receive from a source different than the one that hurt you. You do not have to keep flinching at every gift because some gifts in your past came with strings attached. The gifts I am sending have no strings. They are not loans. They are not tests of your performance. They are simple, generous, unconditional pourings from a heart that has loved you longer than the people who hurt you have been alive. Let that settle in you for a moment. The love you have for me is much younger than the love I have for you. I was loving you before you knew what love was. I was loving you when you were too small to know my name. I was loving you in the seasons you blamed me. I was loving you in the seasons you forgot me. Nothing about my love depended on your awareness of it. It just kept pouring. It is still pouring. The season you are walking into will not look like the season you are walking out of. There will be a shift in the air that you will feel before you can name. Things you have been pushing on will start moving without your full effort. Heavy things will become lighter, not because the weight changed, but because the strength I am giving you is changing. You will look back and not be able to identify the exact day the shift began. That is how my work usually unfolds, quietly, without fanfare. By the time you notice, you are already inside it. Do not waste energy trying to identify the moment things changed. Just keep looking up. Keep your face turned toward the open sky. The change is happening whether you can mark the date or not. Some of you are going to receive provision in the area of your finances, not as a miracle of luck, but as a series of small alignments that add up to more than the sum of their parts. A door of opportunity will open that you did not arrange. A situation that was draining you will resolve in a way that puts something back instead of taking something away. The constant low-grade anxiety about money will start to loosen, not because every problem disappears at once, but because you will begin to see with cleaner eyes how much I have already been sustaining you in ways you stopped counting. Some of you are going to receive provision in the area of your body. Healing that has been creeping in for a while will become noticeable. Sleep that has been restless will deepen. Tension you have been carrying in places you did not know you were holding will start to release. You will catch yourself feeling lighter and not be able to explain why. That is the rain. It has been falling. You are finally feeling it on your skin. Some of you are going to receive provision in your relationships. A misunderstanding that is hardened between you and someone you love will soften. A conversation that has been needed will finally happen, and it will go better than you feared. A relationship that needed to end will end with more grace than you thought possible. A relationship that needed to deepen will deepen quietly. None of this is luck. All of it is rain. Some of you are going to receive provision in your inner world. The voice in your head that has been harsh with you will become kinder, not because you forced it, because as you learn to receive my voice, the imitation harshness loses its volume. You will begin to speak to yourself more the way I speak to you, tenderly, patiently, with a long view of who you are becoming. There is one more area of provision I want to name directly. It is the provision of meaning. Many of you have been doing right things, faithful things, slow, steady things, and have wondered what it is all for. That wondering itself was a prayer, even though you did not call it a prayer. And the answer to that prayer has also been falling on you in the form of small confirmations. A moment when something you said helped someone in a way you could not have engineered. A moment when an old skill you thought useless became unexpectedly necessary. A moment when a chapter of your life that felt wasted suddenly began producing fruit you could trace back to it. Those are not coincidences. Those are deposits of meaning being released through the open sky into the soil of your life. The harvest of meaning you are about to gather will surprise you. You will look back at seasons you wrote off as failures and see for the first time that they were soil being prepared. Notice something about how I work that will help you read the rain more accurately in the days ahead. I do not move in straight lines. I move in spirals. What looks like circling back to the same problem is often a tighter spiral, approaching a deeper resolution. The thing you keep encountering is not the same thing you encountered last time, even if it wears the same clothing. You are meeting it with a stronger you, with a wiser you, with a more anchored you. The fact that you keep facing it is not evidence that nothing has changed. It is evidence that I am bringing you back to it, now that you are equipped to receive the lesson its earlier visits could not deliver. Trust the spiral. Stop interpreting recurrence as failure. Some of the most precious gifts I send arrive only after the third or fourth visit to the same difficulty, because only then is your heart soft enough and your spirit strong enough to recognize what was always available there. The lesson did not change. You did. And the change is what unlocks what was waiting in the difficulty all along. There is a quiet kind of provision I want to mention before we move toward the close of this. The provision of slowness. Some of you have been begging for things to speed up, for answers to come faster, for doors to open immediately. And while I understand the urgency, I want you to know that part of what I am pouring into your life is the gift of a slower pace than the world has trained you to demand. The pace that lets roots go deep. The pace that lets relationships actually form. The pace that lets you notice things you would have missed if everything happened at the speed you wanted. If your life feels slower than you wish, that may be the rain too. The slowing is not punishment. It is preservation. It is making sure the speed at which you receive what is coming does not snap something inside you that needs to remain unbroken. I am not delaying your future to test you. I am calibrating the rate at which the future arrives so that you arrive in it intact. There is something you need to see about the silence too. Some of you have been praying about a specific situation for a very long time, and the silence around it has become its own ache. You have wondered if I am still listening. You have wondered if your prayer is registering anywhere. I want you to hear me on this carefully. The silence around your prayer is not absence. It is the sound of weight being added to it. Prayers that are answered too quickly often have less weight than prayers that mature in silence for a long time. Some of what you have been praying about has been gathering mass for years. When it finally lands, it will not be a small landing. It will not be a quiet shift. It will reorganize the room. You will know it is from me because no human strategy could have produced it. You will know it is from me because the timing will look improbable. You will know it is from me because the depth of the answer will exceed the resolution of the question. Trust the gathering. The silence has not been silence on my end. It has been weight building. Now let me speak to a particular tenderness in some of you. The tenderness of a hope you have not allowed yourself to fully name. Maybe a hope about a person. Maybe a hope about a calling. Maybe a hope about a healing. Maybe a hope about a relationship that has cost you more than you wanted to spend. You have kept the hope small inside yourself because letting it grow felt dangerous. Hope at full size has always felt to you like an invitation to greater pain. I want you to hear me say something gently. You can let the hope grow in my presence. You do not have to grow it alone. Hand it to me and let me hold the hope for you while you continue to live your daily life. I am a much steadier custodian of hope than you are. Hope handed to me does not deflate. Hope kept small in your own grip can be crushed by a single hard sentence. So let me carry the hope at full size, and you can keep walking forward without the weight of having to protect it from your own disappointment. Some of you needed to hear that paradox one more time, in a slightly different form. Not as a slogan, as a dwelling, a place where your mind can rest when the old habits of looking down try to return. When you catch yourself sliding back into despair, return to the simple knowing that the sky over your life is open. Speak it gently to yourself. Let it act as a hand on the chin, lifting your gaze. The sky did not close because you forgot to look up. The sky stayed open the entire time. I want to add a word to the ones of you who have been carrying shame about how you have lived in the past. Shame that whispers, "You do not deserve an open sky." Shame that says, "The rain is for better people than me." I want to dismantle that whisper directly. The rain is not falling on you because you have been good. The rain is falling on you because I am good. The character of what falls on you reflects the character of the source it falls from. And my character is not stingy. My character does not measure your past failures and reduce the rain accordingly. My character is to keep pouring, even on the parts of you that you wish you could erase. You cannot erase the past, but the past is not a barrier between you and what is coming. It is the soil that the coming will land in, and good rain on hard soil eventually softens hard soil. Be patient with yourself as the softening happens. Be patient with the parts of you that still flinch when love comes near. Those parts have been protecting you for a long time. They will lower their guard slowly as you give them repeated evidence that the rain coming now is not the rain that hurt them then. I want to speak finally to those of you who feel like you are not the kind of person these words are written for. The ones who feel like the message is for someone more spiritual, more disciplined, more worthy. I want you to hear me directly. There is no other you that I am speaking to. The you that is reading this, the you with your specific exhaustion, the you with your specific doubts, the you with your specific irreducible smallness, that is the you I am speaking to. That is the you the sky has been open over. That is the you the rain has been falling on. There is not a more deserving version of you waiting in the wings to step forward and receive the message instead. You are the one, as you are, with everything you are not. The sky is open over you. Stay there. In that simple knowing, I want to address one more thing before I move toward telling you what I am proud of. There is a habit some of you have developed of receiving partial good news with immediate suspicion. A small blessing arrives, and instead of letting it fully land, you brace for the catch. You ask, "What is the price of this?" You wait for the other shoe to drop. You enjoy the thing for a moment and then start the calculation of how it will be taken away. I see the habit. I am not condemning it. It came from somewhere. People in your past gave you good things wrapped in conditions, and the conditions hurt more than the good things helped. So you learn to flinch. But the rain I am sending does not have hidden conditions inside it. The rain is what it is. Provision is provision. Healing is healing. Favor is favor. There is no fine print. There is no late payment. There is no clause that lets me revoke what I gave you because you slipped. The kind of giver I am is not the kind of giver who measures and retracts. I give and let stand. The gifts I send become permanent fixtures in your life unless you actively refuse them. And even then, the refusal is on you, not on me. I do not stop pouring because you do not catch. I stop pouring only when the season for that particular kind of rain has matured into the next kind. So when something good arrives, let it arrive. Do not begin the calculation immediately of how it might be taken. Just be in the receiving for a moment. Let the gift register in your body. Notice it. Thank me for it. And then keep walking. with your face still up, ready for the next drop. This is what gratitude does, by the way. Gratitude is not a tax you pay for the gift. Gratitude is the way you keep your face lifted between the drops. The grateful posture is the receiving posture. Not because I require thanks before I give again, but because gratitude is what keeps your eyes open to the rain that is still falling. Ungrateful eyes go blind to provision. They keep receiving without registering, and eventually, despite living under an open sky, the ungrateful become convinced they live in a drought, simply because they stopped seeing what was landing. Do not become someone who lives under provision and feels deprived. The drift toward that posture is gradual. It happens in small increments. A blessing comes and you do not pause to acknowledge it. The next one comes and you take it as the baseline. The third comes and you start expecting more. Before long, you are calculating what you do not yet have, rather than receiving what is already in your hands. Pull yourself out of that drift early. Pause when the rain lands. Acknowledge the drops. Say a small thank you, even silently, even just inside your spirit. That habit alone will keep you positioned to keep receiving. I want to give you a simple practice for the days ahead. Once a day, in whatever moment feels natural, pause for 10 seconds and name 3 things that have already arrived. Not 3 things you are still waiting on. 3 things that have already landed in your life. They can be small. They can be ordinary. They can be things you take for granted. The point is to retrain your eyes to see the rain you have already received. Because the eyes that can see what has already arrived are the eyes that can recognize what is arriving next. This is not magic. This is not a transactional formula. This is simply how attention works. Attention shapes perception. Perception shapes experience. The person who notices rain feels rained on. The person who does not notice rain feels dry, even when standing under the same sky. I am not asking you to manufacture gratitude where there is no reason for it. I am asking you to look honestly at what has already happened and let your eyes adjust to the abundance that has been there the whole time. Now, I want to acknowledge something else. Some of you are not in a season of feeling abundance. Even after this whole conversation, some of you are in a season where the rain feels far away, where the sky feels low, where the words I am speaking feel like beautiful things that belong to someone else. I want to speak directly to that part of you. I have not forgotten you. The fact that the rain has not yet broken through into your felt experience does not mean it is not falling. Sometimes the soil of a heart needs more time to absorb before the visible green appears. Sometimes the changes I am making in your life are happening underneath, in places you cannot perceive yet, and the visible harvest will come later than you wish. I am not running on a different timeline than you because I love you less. I am running on a different timeline because I see what you cannot yet see, and the timeline I am running on protects what I am trying to give you. Stay close in the not yet. Do not let the not yet become a not ever in your imagination. The two are very different. Not yet is a season. Not ever is a verdict. I have not issued any verdicts of not ever over your life. I have only given you a season of not yet, and that season is moving, even when you cannot feel it move. I want you to hear something now that I do not say lightly. I am proud of you, not for what you accomplished this past stretch of life, for who you became while nobody was applauding, for the prayers you kept praying when they felt unanswered, for the kindness you kept giving when nobody returned it, for the quiet decisions to stay tender when the world rewarded the hardened, for the way you got back up after the falls that nobody knew about. You have been more faithful than you give yourself credit for, and the heaven that opened over your life is not a reward for your faithfulness. My love does not work that way. The heaven was always open, but your faithfulness positioned you to finally look up. So in a sense, your steady, stumbling, often discouraged perseverance has done something more important than you realize. It has gotten your face into the right position to catch what was already raining. Now stay there, face up, heart open, hands ready. I want to say one more thing about the fear. The fear that this season will end before you have a chance to enjoy it. The fear that the rain will stop. The fear that the open sky was a brief mercy and is about to close again. That fear is not coming from me. That fear is coming from a wounded place that learned to expect every good thing to be temporary because every good thing in your past felt temporary. The sky over your life is not a temporary mercy. It is the truth about the relationship between us. There is no version of our relationship where I close the sky over you to punish you. There is no version where you can do something so wrong that I retract my generosity and turn the rain off. I am not that kind of father. I never have been. And the hardest part of receiving from me is unlearning the picture you formed of me from people who were not me. Let me be a different kind of father in your imagination. The kind who does not ration. The kind who does not threaten withdrawal of love as a method of correction. The kind who does not give and then take back. The kind whose generosity is not a setup for a later disappointment. I am the kind of father who pours and pours and pours, and then keeps pouring. And the only question is whether you will lift your face. Lift your face. Whatever has been falling on the back of your neck because you were looking down, I am giving you another chance to receive it from the front. The chance is now. The chance is in the days that are unfolding. The chance is the next time you feel the old urge to despair and you choose, however imperfectly, to lift your face one more time. I will meet you in that movement. Every time, without exception, without keeping score of how many times you forgot to lift before you remembered. So take a breath now. A real one. Let it be slower than the last one. Let your shoulders drop one more time. Let the internal grip you have been holding release. There is no exam at the end of this. There is only an open sky and a father who has been waiting for you to lean back into the simple posture of receiving. Heaven is open over you. The rain is steady. You do not have to make anything happen. You only have to stop reading the ceiling. The next stretch of life is not going to feel like the last stretch, not because you will be in constant ecstasy. Life on earth still includes hard hours. But the hard hours will land differently because they will land on a person who has finally stopped doubting whether the sky above her is open. You will have hard moments without losing the underlying knowledge that provision is still falling. You will face challenges without interpreting them as evidence that I have left. That is the shift. That is what I am teaching you in the days ahead, not how to escape difficulty. How to walk through difficulty under an open sky, knowing rain is still falling, knowing the rain is for you, knowing the rain has always been for you. Amen. If these words found something tender in you, stay close to this space. Subscribe so the next message I send through this channel will reach you when you need it. Like the video so others who are reading the ceiling can find a sky they did not know was open. Share it gently with one person whose face has been turned down too long. And whatever else you do, lift your face. The sky over your life is open. The rain is already falling. Receive it.